I am Kelly McCullen, and I cover politics for UNC-TV. Today I've been following some unemployment hearings lawmakers attended earlier today, which is January 8th, 2014, and been listening to a discussion of philosophy on giving people unemployment checks. If they receive checks for a long period of time, does it make a jobless worker less inclined to find a job, even if it's a job they don't want? That's a question going on in Raleigh right now, as well as on Capitol Hill. State employment security officials say North Carolina's unemployment rate is dropping. Debate centers as to why that's happening. Is it new job creation, or is it people who are quitting their job searches? Because if you don't look for work, you're not counted as being unemployed. Whereas North Carolina's new unemployment benefit structure, with its fewer weeks and lower maximum weekly payouts, provoked many jobless people to take jobs they'd otherwise pass on if these benefits were flowing freely. Mecklenburg County Senator Bob Rucho says limited benefits help move the jobless towards the job market.
The evidence, at least coming forward, is saying, when people are put to the point of saying, hey, we need to get to work. There are some jobs. Is it exactly what I want? No, but I'm taking care of my family. I have that responsibility, and so they will tend to do that.
State employment officials say North Carolina is progressing on a debt repayment plan of loans taken when the Great Recession bankrupted our state's unemployment trust fund. The federal government is charging over 2% interest on North Carolina's debt. North Carolina employers, they pay the entire cost of unemployment insurance, are forced to pay temporarily higher fees until that debt gets retired. If the schedule holds up, that will be in 2015.
We want to have a more solid unemployment system, but we can only achieve that if we have a system that, or should I say, that is sustainable and one that is solvent. Remember, the problem to begin with was that unemployment in the state of North Carolina, or at least the fund, was not solvent.
Officials expect about $500 million of revenue to flow into the Unemployment Trust Fund the first quarter of 2014. That will be the bulk of the fund's yearly revenue. The combination of those lower benefits payouts with shorter benefits time windows and that higher employer fee have allowed unemployment funds to replenish somewhat while reducing that once near $3 billion federal debt to under $1.89 billion in early 2014.
The whole thing about biting that, taking that tough bullet this past year was to alleviate or eradicate the debt that we owe the federal government, so it would take the pressure off of the business community and allow them to reinvest in themselves to grow and create more jobs.
Republican lawmakers say they're tracking that recent congressional action that could offer extended federal unemployment benefits for its possible effects on the state's program and plans. Many benefits recipients take jobs before the state's 20-week-long benefits period is completely exhausted. Saves a few days and some money for the state. But conservatives say a federal extension would encourage these people to stay on the system. The state's debt wouldn't increase, but recipients would not leave the system earlier. Money that would be used to speed up federal loan repayment would instead be issued as unemployment checks.
Is any amount of backward stepping on potential state debt repayments worth it to help some people get over the hump, to let the economy, in theory, strengthen further?
Oh, absolutely, but it's only prudent to ask how much of a step back that would be.
Assistant Secretary of Commerce Dale Fogwell is here. Well, you keep coming back to lawmakers and keep telling them you're paying down the unemployment debt. How's it going?
That's going well. Your viewers may remember that North Carolina has the third highest debt in the United States behind New York and California. And we got that way through the economic slowdown starting in 2008. In 2013, year just passed, we paid off almost $700 million of that debt. And our goal is to have it paid off by November 1st of 2015. The reason that's important to your viewers is that every time there's $1 of debt outstanding to the federal government, they charge every employer, private, nonprofit, governmental agency, an extra surcharge on their FUTA taxes, their federal unemployment taxes. So our FUTA taxes for our employers are twice as high as 33 other states. And as long as this debt's outstanding, it goes even higher.
What makes unemployment, I would say, so popular politically? Because it's a hot debate on the national stage, and down here it appears legislators are looking at the feds to see how it affects the state. But it's going to be a hot button issue this year.
Well, it is an issue. As far as our agency is concerned, we're focused on collecting taxes from employers who totally fund our system. No money comes from the state taxpayers, and then we pay out to claimants. And I've been charged with the responsibility of making sure that every phone call is answered, every claim is adjudicated, and every customer is served. And they don't want me resting until that happens, and the debt's extinguished, obviously. And I don't think the governor's going to rest until every North Carolinian who wants a job has a job in this state.
Looking ahead at how unemployment works, if you're laid off today, we call the state unemployment office or the department. How long does it take before you would get your first unemployment check? Because some legislators are questioning, hey, it takes 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Sure. We have had a great year last year in working our backlogs at the higher appeals and lower appeals level, but now we're really focused on the first 15 days in the life of the claim. Historically, we've been at somewhere between 3 and 6 weeks. We're a little over 8 weeks right now, and that's 8 weeks too long. And the reason is that all of the things that have come together that have put more emphasis on what happens to a claimant's claim. The claimant goes on the computer or goes on through the telephone, and they file a claim. And then we get a response back from the employer to see what their version was, to see if this person's eligible.
He said, she said kind of thing?
Correct.
Yeah.
And previously, there's been a lot of pressure from Washington to expedite these payments, to do things quickly. Our focus in this agency is to do things correctly. And the reason that's important to your viewers is that we have a responsibility to the unemployed people of this state who are eligible for these benefits, that when we send them a check, they know that it belongs to them and that we're not going to come back after it.
Do people try to work that system a lot?
We have a very bad record with the U.S. Department of Labor in terms of what we call overpayments. We're approaching 19% overpayments, and that's the result of a lot of different things. But the fact is that for really this whole century, the agency's been focused on paying and chasing. We pay people out and then we chase them down and try to get it back. That's why there's so much emphasis right now on doing it correctly in the first 15 days.
Is it harder to vet them on the front side, or is it harder to chase someone, find them wherever they are, and try to collect your unemployment check that they shouldn't have received?
Well, you use the word harder, and I'd like to sort of bifurcate that into simple and easy. It's obviously much easier, it's much simpler to try to vet that on the front end, because every dollar that goes to a person who doesn't deserve it is a dollar that belonged to somebody who did deserve it. Secondly, at no time in the agency's history were claimants required to show a photo identification that verified they are the person they say they are. I found this out after I'd been there a couple of months when we were sending tax refund checks back to people who had never worked in North Carolina, never been to North Carolina, never filed for unemployment in North Carolina because somebody had stolen their identity and was filing unemployment claims on their behalf.
What's your answer for that?
Well, in the next couple of months, we're going to be requiring a photo ID so that when people come into the local offices to provide their work search to show that they're able and available and seeking employment, which is a condition for getting unemployment in North Carolina, when people come back in, they're going to be required to show us some kind of photo ID.
Dale Falwell, as always, good to have you on. As this debt gets repaid and as policy change, we'll have you back on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you.